Hello, welcome.
All right, we got the frame right this time. There we go. Okay. All right. So let's see. Is my clock going this time? It still says 0. See why? Why does Facebook Live keep doing that for me? We're gonna keep it going. I'm gonna confirm here on my phone, but we're gonna keep going. All right, there we go. All right. So welcome back, I should say, to our Sweet 16 marriage series. Ryan and I, like I've said the last few times, we're celebrating 16 years of marriage this month, right? And we've been spending time this month sharing some of the lessons we've learned along the way. Okay, so thank you all who have been following along with us. Last week we did Wednesday and Sunday. We did find Sundays were better for folks to join us, so we changed it up again this week instead of doing Wednesdays and moving it back to Sundays. But tonight's conversation is about something many couples experience, right? When two strong personalities stop competing, right, and start covering each other. That's the topic for tonight.
Episode 3. Let's get it.
So
if you have two strong people in a marriage, there's a good chance at some point it can start to feel like competition instead of a partnership. So that's really what we're here to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, really, I just think about earlier on in our marriage that we were really competing, butting heads a lot. Both engineers, professionals working at NASA. She did console, I did console at one point in time. You had to have a certain personality to be driven and work console ops. And then also on top of that, she became a lead. Then in my job, I became a SME as far as an engineer, subject matter expert. So then at that point in time, we were both excelling in our careers and we were sharp. And at times you say, hey, iron's supposed to sharpen iron. In this case, we were hitting so hard and we were dulling each other. Yeah, we had sparks creating fires, and sometimes it would make things more dull than sharp. So that's the one thing that was noticed earlier on.
Yeah.
What about you?
So early in our marriage, of course, we both, like you said, we had strong opinions as well, right? Strong ideas on top of those strong personalities too. So even just in regular discussion, things would get heated because he had his opinion, I had my opinion, and even sometimes we were saying the same things just in different ways. And now, even after 16 years almost now, right, we still make sure we are clear when we have discussions so we don't get into those points, because we could still very easily slip into that, right, where we're saying the same thing, just saying it in a different way. So over the years, we've gotten much better at understanding each other's styles of communication, right? But also at the same time being able to translate and convey what we're trying to convey, not just with our spouse, but with anyone, right? That's a soft skill that you have to develop. But it's really important in your marriage to make sure that your spouse is able to understand what you're trying to convey. So we practice, right, those communication skills so that we can get better at sharing our strong opinions in the right way so they're received. So honey,
something that's very important there too is that you end up wanting to prove yourself right, and that person then responds to you. Then you say, "Oh no!" Then your ego kicks in, and then you create this cycle of, "Okay, I want to prove I'm right." Okay, then no, they're impacting my ego. Oh no, that's whatever. And then you have a misunderstanding, talk past each other, and then you go back. So basically, the loop comes in where you're feeding exactly the response that you're getting. And a lot of people don't see that a lot of times when you're going in. So you would say, oh no, I'm going to be right no matter what. And then by that, you precipitate that same desire or need to being right or proving your ego getting attacked or puffing up or talking past each other like Michelle just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know now we're pretty good at it now, but what about you think early on, right? Is there a time, and I'll give you a couple of seconds to think about a story, but do you remember a time early on in our marriage where it felt like we were competing more than partnering? Is there any examples you can think about? not to put you on the spot, right?
Uh,
So
but-
y'all remember, I don't know, I never give him the questions ahead
Yeah.
of time.
So where we were competing.
Yes.
Oh man! So competing, if anything from playing cards to dominoes to catching beads or throwing beads. When we don't do Mardi Gras anymore. But it's something far as running down the street or eating food. If it's really spicy, she like, oh, you can't handle it, baby. I think I mentioned that before.
Yeah.
Anything from any kind of activity, and then playing Scrabble. Yeah, it's a in competition, but that's more playful. So sometimes it's more of a playful competition, but then being able to do finances or being able to do something in engineering where mathematics, where they're real estate, other things, it would be more of a competition. I
Yeah.
would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, or parties. Well, I'll just let her have that one. Cooking, we would compete about that, more button heads on what we should cook, what we should have, who's better, this or whatever. So those things, yeah.
So now I do remember. So one thing I do want to say though, on my own behalf, right? I did not have a competitive spirit before Mr. Ryan Green here. Okay, I was easygoing. I wouldn't talk a whole lot of trash. It's completely different now. I attribute that to my husband. So he was the master trash talker, and he turned on a different switch for me when we started doing things that I became competitive in, because he was competitive and I was good at it, but I didn't talk trash like he did, so I had to start talking trash, right? So like he said, it became playful, but at the same time, like those serious topics, right, where like finance, for example, right? So going into our relationship, you did your own thing, I did my own thing. We both were really strong financially, taking care of our bills and that sort of thing, and bringing down debt, all these different topics that aren't typically talked about, period, in marriages, right? We were already tackling our own things individually before we got together, and then we got together, we both were strong in those areas. So I was like, okay, so I'm gonna keep doing this, you gonna keep doing that, or I'm gonna do this and you do that. And I really, in the beginning, was doing the financial stuff because, again, that control thing that we talked about the other night, right? Because I was like, no, I got this. I'm going to do this. I had a whole spreadsheet. I still have a spreadsheet, but now it's for the taxes. I still do the taxes. But I gave, again, back to submission, too, we talked about. But I handed over all financial responsibilities to him. So even when I still had a job myself, right, a day job, I should say, and it took some years, though, of me doing all the bills and all the finances and all the things for him. And he had already expressed, right, the desire to do it himself. And I was like, no, I got it. You do something else. But then one year, the Lord just downloaded it in me, handed it over, Michelle. And I did. And that was really hard for me, because that was me competing with my husband in that manner, because I wanted to handle the finances when it actually is his responsibility to handle the finances. So me being submissive to the Lord, right, at the same time as being submissive to my husband, I handed over that responsibility, and that competing nature in our finances, right, definitely became a partnership. So it was more than just about having our money in the same account, right? Do I trust him handling that money in the same account? Do I trust him paying the bills when it's due and before it's due, or paying off stuff early and paying stuff down, and all the things that I was doing, right? I had to hand that over, and that truly was partnership when I was able to do that. And that was not immediate in our marriage. That was after some years, right?
Yeah, it took some time. And the partnership portion of that, which is really good, is that when there's a big purchase or things of that nature, I definitely stopped. I said, hey, here's what I'm getting. Let's pray and see if we're getting the same thing. Mm-hmm. Or I'm really thinking about this, but I just want to confirm that it's just not my flesh or my own wants and desires. And it still goes along with the vision that was put forth at the beginning of the year, or when we have our regular check-ins as a family, talking about what the vision is for the family. Does this still go along those lines when we're making those big purchases? So even in my position where I may be charging ahead on finances, it's still good for me to come back and check in and say, hey, my spouse is there, she's going to help me. and say, hey, yes, I believe, yes, that's good. You're still in alignment. Or here, that may not be. And then sometimes, some cases where there is an agreement, then I pray on it. And it's okay, great. We're going in this direction. We're going to move. And so all those things happen. I noticed the relief that she had.
Yeah.
That's like that burden that was on her before. That burden was gone. And then again, that competitive, what are we competing for?
Yeah.
And then she trusts me to say, there's something big happening. I know he's going to tell me.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. Then it became more of a partnership.
Right,
for sure.
absolutely, absolutely. Hey Shannon, hey Tasha, I see y'all on there. Thank you for joining us. So Tasha said she don't believe something.
She don't believe me. I must have said
I'm sure
something.
it was something Ryan
It was
said.
something I said. She said, I don't believe that. All right. So,
So yeah,
I'll circle back on it if you type it in there.
But yeah, it all came down to the not wanting to be right all the time, but trusting in each other enough to, like you said, have that partnership and not the competition.
I think that's what it was.
That oftentimes
The competition.
You don't believe that part?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
But we do, right? Even almost to this day, right? We still at times we have to remember not having to prove a point, right? Because we're both still really strong personalities and still have strong opinions. None of these things went away. Just about how we convey the messages to one another and how we use that information together as one and not individually, right? Let's see. She says,
about you not being competitive in the beginning from the jump when you met me.
Yeah.
And then you got that when you met me. Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, we played back in New Orleans, we played pity pat and spades and all the things. And I would just quietly, beat people. I didn't trash talk. But everybody else did. I just did it. They never saw me coming. Right. But now, like, my daughters are the worst. Especially Riley. She has it genuinely, right? They're natural trash talkers. But now it's because they saw us both, right? I've developed trash talking as a skill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're really good at it now. Now I'm competitive now.
Yeah, she enhanced it.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yeah, she enhanced it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, pray for us, folks. Pray for us.
Yeah. But we work together, right? So in our competitive nature, now it is very much so it's us against whoever and whatever and whenever, right? It's us against whatever it is and not one another. And that's the difference though, right? The big shift that did occur. Okay. So there's no ego involved in what we're doing because we're still a team. Right? It's us against whatever it is. And the misunderstandings that we may have, it's again that how we're conveying the message. And when we have that down, there's no misunderstanding. Our intentions are clear, right? When it comes to doing whatever we're doing.
Yeah, everybody got a lane. So
Yeah.
you have your swim lane. Okay, this is your lane. You're in it. You run the point on that.
Right,
And then
right.
you just move forward like that. And then having that communication back and forth. And then it's important, essential with children, you have to show that as well. And then with friends, family, people that you meet as well. When someone may ask me something, I would say, well, that's more of my wife's swim lane. Or that's me, and I'll answer real quick. And a lot of times people be surprised. Well, don't you have to go talk to your wife on this? Well, if that's my swim lane I'm in,
Yeah.
that's my role or responsibility, then yeah, the answer's going to be like that, and you move on. If it's more in her swim lane, if you're talking about vacation or booking something on my schedule, that's not my swim lane. I want to say, hey, I need to talk to my wife about the family schedule, and I'll get back to you. I believe we're clear, but I need to make sure something is not going to get in or a placeholder there. So then I go back and say, hey, I talked to my wife. But it's for other stuff, someone's asking this question, it's like, okay, answer, boom, or no, move on.
Yeah.
So similarly for my wife, if you want to give any examples, that's up to you, baby. I just want to make sure
I think they got it. No,
Okay.
yeah, it's really just about, not winning an argument, right, and protecting the relationship. So, like you said, it's really easy, since we, of course, defined our relationship and those swim lanes that you're talking about and making sure we stand, not making sure, but protecting those lanes, right? So I don't overstep, you don't overstep, and we also communicate with one another, right, as necessary to not stepping on toes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, if I'm sick one week, yeah, definitely she's going to swim in the lane and rescue me and then help out with some stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure there are situations where you do go across lanes, if you will, and help each other.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's how we are mode of operating. And if you look biblically, you also see those different roles in the husband and wife as well. And then you see even in the church, you see everybody has different roles. Everybody has different gifts as given of the Spirit. So if you look out in life and this great creation that the Lord has gifted us with to steward over, you see these swim lanes all over the places. So that's really good.
Yeah. So that's a good segue.
Uh-oh.
Into the next question.
Ugh,
So
gotta get ready.
You talked about, right, strengths pretty much, right? So learning each other's strengths was really a key detail. You know, in corporate America, right, some companies, the good ones anyway, they do what they call personality tests, right? Or they'll have your boss will ask you, even if you just apply for a job, right, what are your strengths? Those are the things you should have on your resume, right? But when you do your performance evals, what are your weaknesses, they'll say, right? But I remember I said area for improvement.
Absolutely.
But, right, as a married couple, what do you think changed when we started actually recognizing each other's strengths? We knew what we were strong in, right? But in the beginning, of course, we both used our strengths for everything. But then it was about, I think, recognizing, okay, he may be stronger in this area, even though I'm strong in it. He's stronger, right? And then vice versa. Or this may be an area where she's strong in it, but she don't really feel like doing that. She don't like doing that. She's good at it, but it's not something she's wants to do, right?
No joy in doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So once I noticed that personally, first thing I think about, I like Star Trek. I thought about the Borg. Assimilate. I'm gonna take that. We will take your uniqueness and add it to our own.
Yeah.
And make it a part of our collective. Yes. That's what I did. So when I saw her strengths, I said, or how she handled the situation, I would say, I'm going to assimilate that really quick. And then, so that's one thing that I learned. Okay, great. That makes me better. And then in those areas that may be areas for improvement for me, in some cases, I allow her just to fill that void or gap. And then that's just a void or gap that she can step in and fill because it's her strength. Awesome. And in other cases where she is strong in another area and I have an area for improvement, if you will, I can chisel and use some of that to add to my own learnings. And then as I progress and go on, then I can check in and say, okay, great. That's something, how she handled this or how she works in this different area that can help out.
So yeah, letting me lead in my strength when necessary, right? But also letting you lead in your strength, right? So there's times where, you know, the fact that, for example, I'm not in corporate America anymore, but all those skills remain, right? Especially as a business owner. So oftentimes, you know, my husband, he'll call me from work, for example, and ask me about something he got from a coworker or whatever, and he'll say, what do you think, you know, before I reply to this, you know, if I should respond this way or that way. And then I will give him one of my really good strengths is seeing different perspective and seeing things from the ceiling, right, from the sky view. Because I was in leadership and in management in corporate America, I can see the full floor, right? He can too. But when I see it from a managerial perspective. So if somebody emails him something, for example, and he wants to respond real quick, and I said, maybe, honey, he's thinking about this in addition to what you're thinking about. So it gives him another avenue to think about, you know, giving whoever it is the benefit of the doubt before he responds in a way where may not be the full story, for example, or just with the right tone. You know, when you do respond to people, I'm really good at my tone, right? I can say some things to you and have the correct tone, and you really don't understand. Did she just compliment me or insult me? I'm not really sure.
It sounds like she fucked with me one side, up one side and down the other way. So,
yeah,
but it didn't come out that way. Yeah,
that's a skill.
Yeah, one thing that's really good about that is this past year I've been working on presume or believe that someone's coming point of having the best interests at heart for you, best interests at heart for a project, best interests at heart for your family. So in your marriage, that definitely is very, very key. Understand that your wife's not coming at you from a perspective that's attacking you or that's negative. Understand that she's coming from a perspective through her lens, from her optics of her experiences or what she may be getting downloaded from the Lord, that is coming from an area of goodness or positive. even though it may come out wonderfully or negatively or however it comes out, it's from that perspective you need to get it, and then when you receive it, you're then able to process it and say, okay, great, she's coming from that perspective. Let me take that in that light and then respond.
Right.
And then understand truly if she's being malicious or if she's actually really come from that area of goodness that you're assuming or gifting with her with at the beginning. So works in marriage, work, and other places.
Yeah, absolutely. So
So it's great when couples stop being competing and they actually become much stronger. So if you're not competing, you get stronger together.
absolutely, absolutely. So now I guess the flip side of things, covering each other, right? After we've discovered all that about ourselves and grown in the area of our strong personalities and being partners versus separate, right? What does covering each other mean, right? For us, I believe covering each other over the years, of course, it's meant a few things, right? So speaking well about each other publicly, right? There's a lot of times, unfortunately, where in public, you may not realize people are together because they're tearing each other down, right? My husband I'm his biggest cheerleader, not just in front of him, but behind his back, right? How are you talking about your spouse when he's not in the room or she's not in the room, or they're not even in the state, right? No, I speak highly of my husband at all times. I'm not going to be that wife that's talking down about my husband at all. Guess what? Even if he didn't take out the trash last week, I'm not going to be out here complaining about it.
Hey, we're supposed to correct each other privately,
Right,
not
exactly,
publicly. So if I
exactly.
take out the trash, that's just a simple one. Don't even sweat
And that comes
folks.
from where? Tell
What's
me where
that?
that comes from.
What, take out the trash?
No, correcting in private.
Private versus
In public.
you don't do that with children either.
Right, right.
Yeah, with your
That's-
children as well.
That is a way of showing love,
Yeah.
right? Correcting in the right way. Not that it's correcting him while taking out the trash, but
Yeah, because if you do that in the public, then emotionally that can destroy someone
An
or
entire
lose their space.
relationship.
So if you think about the Asian culture, you don't speak a certain way in the public to your wife or to your family or to your husband, and it's done in privately. You don't correct unless it's something that's openly, blatantly, publicly done, and it needs to be corrected at that point in time. Then that occurs.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So when couples stop competing, right, the marriage is much stronger. All right. So once the realization of that is a big thing, and then okay, what do you do with it? Do you make those steps to work together and feel like you're in a partnership? It doesn't just happen, right? You have to put the work in, and we've done that definitely over the years. So I would think. So what do you think now? Let's share some lessons, right? After almost 16 years, some lessons about what we've discovered in our own marriage.
Yeah,
over the
definitely.
years.
Unity is more important than being right. That's for sure. Being together, and then also you have to have mutual respect for each other, and that also respect, also trust too with that. And also you have to, in marriage, you have to actually be humble. You have to have humility, being able to say, okay, yeah, I was wrong about that, or being able to understand where your gaps are, your area of improvement are. Understand that, and that can then in turn be helpful to keep that unity, that link together, and ensure that we're on the right direction. And then also when you admit something in humility, more respect is formed. So
Absolutely.
that's very important.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that too, because respect goes both ways, right? A lot of times, in relationships will say, well, the man deserves respect. Well, the woman deserves respect too, right? The woman deserves love. Well, the man deserves love too, right? All those things go both ways, right? We all deserve respect and love, right? Love and respect, not one or the other. So, and that, of course, strengthens your marriage too, right? So now, almost in closing here now, let us hear from you guys in the comments. So if you're watching live with us or catching the replay, what do you think, right, is the biggest challenge couples face when it comes to working as a team? Because it's not always easy to do, right? Yeah, so what do you think? Let us know what you think. Because for us, I know marriage has been one of the greatest refining processes, right, in our lives. We continue to,
And
right?
we're still learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let us know what you think in the comments. And then next Sunday, we'll finish our series with episode 4, right? So we're
4.
wrapping things up. 4.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Yes, yes. So 16 years in, what we do again and what we do differently. Yeah.
Wow. That's a hard one. Because you do something differently, you may not get the same end result.
You're right.
Or if you do something differently, you may get a better result.
Hey.
So
So
it
we'll
just
talk about
depends.
it. We'll talk about it next Sunday at 6:30. All right. So thank you all for joining us. I said we were going to keep it quick and short tonight, but we hit it and talked about the nuggets we wanted to share, right? About how we went from strong personalities to working together as a team, partnership. That's what it's all about. So
Yeah, even after this is over, if you felt like your husband's competing with you, your wife's competing with you, definitely drop a comment in the chat. We can definitely circle back on something if we need to. We appreciate y'all out there, for sure.
all right, thank you. Let's see. Hey, Miss Paul. That's right. 43 years in. I love it. And Shannon says she wondered if housework is a challenge. It's not, because we share the load.
Even today with the dishes, before we did this Zoom, she was grabbing, not Zoom, but Facebook Live. We went over, she grabbed some out the dishwasher, she would hand me a bowl, I grabbed some stuff,
Yeah.
and we had a chain going, putting everything back up. So that's the one thing in housework, you can just knock it out if you do it together.
Everything in marriage is a partnership. Don't let people tell you otherwise. You know, the woman's in the kitchen and he's doing the trash. And no, I take out the trash too, right? No, that's how things work together in partnership.
Great
right?
question, thanks.
Yeah. You fill each other's gaps, right? You have each other's back regardless. If he doesn't do it, it's not going to get done. No, I'm going to do it. If I don't do it, he'll do it, right? And then the children pick up the slack too. We got 3 of them. So yes, we got some backup support. All right. Yes, ma'am. We are Team Green. That's right. And everything and all things. Thank you, Lord. All right.
Absolutely.
So thank you, ladies, for joining. If you do want to check out the 7 o'clock Zoom that me and Miss Paula will be on here shortly, check us out. We'll be on Zoom, 788-823-3108. All right. If not, we'll see you all next Sunday for our episode 4. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Love you.
Episode
Bye-bye.
4. Bye.